Hey guys, welcome back to a new Delta Force video. Today I will be going over everything you need to know about the game's upcoming early access, or open beta as they call it officially, and everything you need to know about the content you can expect and how you can even play it. And we get right in with how you can play. So the game launches on December 5th on Steam and also on the game's own launcher, and you can either download it from their website or you simply head over to Steam to the Delta Force page and click on play. This is not a demo or a playtest anymore, it's an official Steam early access, so you don't need to request access to it anymore. And the game is free for everyone, of course. The only drop of bitterness is that it's only available on PC at the moment, and console players have to wait for a little bit longer to get their hands on it. Right now, the console release is planned for early 2025, but I think this will also depend on how the early access is going on PC and how many changes or improvements they have to make. I think what's also interesting to know is that with the start of the early access there is no progression wipe anymore, so unlike the former alpha and demo tests you might have played where all your progression was lost once the test ended, this will not happen in the early access anymore, which means when the game fully launches next year you will keep all of your progress that you are making now. However, on December 5th we will all start at zero, no matter if you have participated in one of the earlier playtests or not. We also got details about the server regions that will be available for the early access, so they have servers in Europe, North America, South America, Asia, Middle East and Australia. And if you are somewhere around there you should be fine ping and lag wise, and if not you will be automatically matched to the server closest to you, but maybe on a higher ping. Now what you can expect content wise in the early access are two main parts. So there is Warfare, which is the Battlefield-like all-out war experience, and Operations, which is the extraction mode. The third part the game actually has is the Black Hawk Down single-player campaign, but this won't be part of the early access. This will only be released with a full version of the game in early 2025 alongside the release for consoles. So in early access we will only have access to the two multiplayer parts of the game. Looking specifically into Warfare, because this is the mode that I'm more focused on with this channel here, we have several game modes, but this overview right here is from the last technical test, so the modes will normally not all be available at the same time. What will be available right away is A&D, which is an attack and defend mode reminiscent of Breakthrough and Battlefield, and King of the Hill, which is basically Conquest. The other modes, Blitz, Siege and Hill of Iron, will be available as time-limited modes at some point during the first season, either in a weekly rotation or as part of an event. And what's completely new in early access is the Drill mode, a PvE mode where you can play against AI either alone or with your friends. This is perfect to learn the game and its mechanics without the pressure of being in a multiplayer match or to try out some weapons and vehicles. In the normal multiplayer modes there are no bots anymore. This was completely removed after the feedback that was given to the alpha tests, and instead we got this Drill mode, and even here the AI is now visibly named as AI and it's not hidden behind names that look like you play against real players. All of these modes will be available on 5 maps, the 2 that we had in the alpha already and 3 new maps. Ascension and Cracked were already available in the alpha and Steam demo. Ascension is the more open map where you move between the ocean and the mountain, and Cracked is the urban desert map that is a remake of a classic Delta Force map from the original Black Hawk Down game. The first new map is Threshold, a more futuristic city map with tight play spaces for infantry but also enough space for vehicles. The second map is Trench Lines, a map that is reminiscent of World War I and II maps but with modern elements and that has a focus on trench warfare. And the last new map is Shafted, a mix of overground and underground objectives that reminds me a bit on the classic Battlefield maps Locker and Metro. And this is also the only infantry only map that the game will have, at least in early access. The other 4 maps are infantry and vehicle combat. Taking a quick look at Operations, we also have 4 maps here, and these offer different kinds of missions, loot and bosses, and there will also be a PvE mode added, but this will only launch on January 1st, so it's not coming directly with the start of the early access. If you want to get a more in-depth view on the Operations mode and what to expect from it, be sure to check out the Beard Guys channel, because they're more focused on this topic and can definitely tell you a lot more about it. Link is in the description below. Moving on, we have the operators we will see in early access, no matter which mode you play. So we have 8 operators in sum, each with their unique active and passive abilities, these are divided into the 4 classes: Assault, Support, Engineer and Recon, which defines the weapons and gadgets they have access to, because it's not a completely open system like we know from Battlefield 2042 when it launched back then. Each operator also has different customization options, from character skins to voice lines, and they all have a mastery system now with 9 ranks for each character, where you have to complete missions to unlock specific cosmetic rewards for this operator. Plus, we will get one new operator for the early access that was not available before, and this is Toxic, a new support operator. Her abilities are a dragonfly swarm that attacks the enemy and disrupts them, an adreno boost that improves the weapon handling of yourself and the teammates around you. Her throwable is blinding gas, so kind of a gas grenade but darker, and it blinds the enemies. And her passive ability is swift healing, which means in operations nearby squad mates can use consumables faster, and in warfare the time it takes for the automatic healing to kick in is shorter. Now, talking about weapons, we have 50 in sum across all kinds of categories like assault rifles, SMGs, snipers and so on, and I've already done a full showcase of them. If you want to check this out, you can find a link to it in the info box. Most of the weapons were already available in the alpha, but with the early access we will get 5 new weapons that were not available before, and these are the Type 191 assault rifle, the MP7 SMG, the M250 LMG, the PSG-1 DMR and the M1911 sidearm. A handful of weapons will be available right from the start for everyone, but most of them need to be unlocked through a progression system based on XP. So you just play the game, earn XP, and then you slowly unlock the weapons. And there will also be a separate progression system for warfare and operations, so these are not connected to each other. We will also see a ton of weapon attachments again, so you can customize and fine-tune them for each and every playstyle in the Gunsmith, but a lot of attachments have changed compared to the alpha. Some of them are completely new, some were simply renamed, and others were removed from weapons. So your loadouts that you played in the alpha might not be available anymore, and if you've saved loadout codes, they might not work anymore. What we have now, on the other hand, are recommended setups that were designed by streamers or developers, and these setups can be used once you unlocked the needed attachments for them. They are a fast way to test different builds for a weapon without the need to tinker around in the customization screen or the calibration, and you can also use them as a base and then create your own setup from there. What you can finally do as well in the early access is changing your weapons during a match, but unfortunately not fully customize or calibrate them. You can only select from saved setups. Still, it's an improvement from the alpha, where we could only select between complete loadouts. Now you can select at least single weapons. Taking a quick look at the vehicles we can expect in the early access, these are pretty much the same we had in the alpha, with the battle tank, the 2 LAVs, the assault vehicle, the tank destroyer, the ATV and the assault helicopter. But what's new is the recon helicopter, and this one's a bit more lightweight and nimble and perfect against infantry. Jets will also be added at some point in a few months, but not with the early access. The only thing that still hasn't really changed are the controls for vehicles. These are still off and feel unresponsive and somewhat clunky, and vehicles in general are not really well balanced yet and are simply not at the spot they should be. But I hope this will be improved step by step during the early access. And just like the weapons, every one of the vehicles can be modified with different upgrades that need to be unlocked by playing the vehicle. Similar to the alpha tests, we will also see a number of missions in the early access again. These will be used to unlock 3 of the operators, but mainly to unlock weapon XP tokens and cosmetic items. And when talking about cosmetics, there will also be an in-game store, of course. Here you can either spend an in-game currency called Delta tickets on weapon and vehicle skins. This currency can be earned by playing and completing missions and doesn't need to be bought with real money, but there's also a premium currency that you can only buy with real money. And these are the Delta coins that you can also spend on cosmetic bundles of higher rarities, and in addition we have bundles you can only buy with real money. These are kind of like starter bundles. And we have the whole manual brick system in addition to this, which are basically loot boxes you can either extract in operations or get as reward for being the best player in warfare. And lastly, there is the battle pass, Pass, and this will be available in 3 different versions. There are separate versions for Warfare and Operations that costs $7 each, and then there is a combined Battle Pass for both modes that is $10. So if you only play one of the modes, you can save a bit of money and only get the Battle Pass that gives you the rewards for this specific mode, but if you play both modes, you can get the full Battle Pass that gives you rewards for both modes. And that was it for today. I hope I didn't forget anything. If I did, let me know in the comments below, and if you have any questions, let me know as well, and I try to answer as much as possible. And if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe, and I'm gonna see you in the next one. I'm Catwoman, and you are awesome.